Welcome back to Superbly Said, Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
Today we're evaluating material from a SpeakDuo lesson, all about the language we use to talk about focus.
And for our listeners, you can head over to SpeakDuo.com. It's a great place to meet new people from all over the world, practice English on video calls, and really build your confidence.
Okay, let's dive right in.
First up, we have a phrase about timing and priority. First thing in the morning.
Right. And you might think, well, why not just say early in the day?
Exactly. That's the comparison. Early in the day is just so flexible. It lacks any real commitment.
Whereas first thing in the morning it's an absolute. It's the first action. Period.
It sets a non-negotiable sequence. So, for example, you could say something like, to ensure he gets his workout done, he goes to the gym first thing in the morning.
Before anything else, before work, before emails, it's locked in.
Right. Or, in a different context, say, for an IELTS answer about habits you want to change.
You could say,
I would like to eliminate checking social media first thing in the morning to start my day with a clear mind.
and that shows you've made mental clarity your number one priority. It's powerful.
Okay, next up we have to adjust downward.
This one sounds very formal, very professional. It means to reduce something to a less demanding level.
It does, but then the question is, why not just say to lower expectations? It's simpler.
And that's the whole point. Lowering expectations can sound a bit passive, almost like you're giving up or you're disappointed.
Yeah, it's purely psychological. But to adjust downward implies a conscious, systematic change. You're recalibrating based on new information or a new reality.
It's a strategic move, not an emotional one.
Exactly. So for instance, after moving to a smaller city, they had to adjust downward their expectations regarding the number of available entertainment options.
It's a practical response to a new environment. No drama, just adjustment.
Or even on a personal level. It usually takes me about a week to adjust downward to going to bed an hour earlier.
See, that implies a deliberate process. You're actively getting used to it. It's a much more sophisticated phrase.
All right, so from planning our time to what happens when we fail to, this brings us to bounce around between things.
Yes, the enemy of focus. But again, couldn't you just say multitasking? It's such a common word.
You could, but multitasking is often used neutrally. Sometimes it's even seen as a strength, you know? Oh, she's a great multitasker.
Right, but to bounce around between things, there's no positive way to spin that.
None at all. It strongly implies inefficiency, a lack of completion, just chaos.
It has a built-in negative judgment.
It really does. In a professional setting, it's a clear critique. The young intern tended to bounce around between various tasks and never focused long enough to complete one properly.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a clear performance issue.
Or think about our digital habits. When I bounce around between tabs, my focus is lost, and I end up forgetting what I was originally doing.
We've all been there. It perfectly captures that feeling.
Okay, our last phrase in this first set is a fantastic idiom. For all intents and purposes.
Love this one. It just sounds smart. But for the sake of argument, why not just use the word essentially? It's one word versus four.
Because essentially is just weaker. It doesn't have the rhetorical punch.
What do you mean by that?
For all intents and purposes is used to draw a very strong line. It says, look, there might be a minor technical difference here, but in every way that actually matters, they are the same.
It highlights a gap between the official story and the practical reality.
Precisely. You're making an argument. For example, the old car was for all intents and purposes a pile of scrap metal, even though it could still move slowly.
The practical reality, its junk overrides the technical fact that the engine turns on.
Exactly. Or in a work context. No, for all intents and purposes, you are working remotely as your main workspace is at home.
Even if the contract says you have a desk at the office, your functional reality is remote work. It's a great phrase for cutting through nonsense.
Now, let's shift from behaviors to the cognitive terms that underpin them. We'll start with attention span.
Okay, so a common point of confusion here is the difference between attention span and concentration. People often use them interchangeably.
They do. And that's a mistake for an advanced learner.
So what's the core distinction?
Attention span is a measure of time. It's quantitative. It's the duration, the limit of how long you can focus.
Whereas concentration is the state of being focused during that time. It's qualitative.
Exactly. So you'd say, teachers often use shorter activities to match the limited attention span of young students.
You're talking about a specific duration, a time limit.
Right. We're in a debate about technology. Yes, I believe continuous stimulation has significantly reduced the average person's attention span.
Again, you're measuring a decline in the length of time people can focus. The distinction is crucial.
And what causes that short attention span? Well, that brings us to our next term, novelty bias.
This is a great psychological term. But how is it different from just being curious? You know, curiosity is a good thing, right? We encourage it.
We do. And that's the key difference. Curiosity is a conscious, active desire to learn. It's intentional.
But novelty bias isn't.
No, it's a subconscious cognitive shortcut. It's your brain's automatic tendency to be pulled toward whatever is new and shiny.
And that pull can be disruptive.
Very. It can completely derail long-term projects. Marketers know this well.
Oh, yeah.
Marketers often exploit the novelty bias by constantly releasing new and improved versions of products that are essentially the same.
They're banking on your brain's automatic attraction to the word new.
And on a personal level, you have to fight it. Yes, the novelty bias can make you constantly jump to new projects, leaving the original one unfinished.
Recognizing that bias is the first step. It's not just you being curious, it's your brain working against your goals.
So, when all this cognitive struggle manifests physically, you get our next word, restlessness.
That inability to stay still, that agitation. But again, let's draw a line. How is this different from impatience?
Well, impatience is very specific. It's about a delay. You're impatient when you're waiting for something to happen.
It has a clear cause and a clear endpoint.
Right. Restlessness is much broader. It's a general physical state of agitation. It can come from nervousness, boredom, dissatisfaction, deeper things.
It's not just about waiting.
Not at all. Think of a big group. The long delay in the flight departure caused great restlessness among the waiting passengers in the terminal.
Their impatience grew into a more general physical agitation. They start pacing, fidgeting.
That's restlessness.
Yeah. Or even just from sitting too long at a desk. I usually stand up and do a quick stretch to relieve the restlessness that comes with sitting too long.
It's your body telling you it needs to move. It's a much more descriptive term than just impatience.
And finally, a potential antidote to all this, our last phrase, to let one's mind wander.
I like this one. It feels positive, but how is it different from daydreaming?
Well, daydreaming often has a slightly negative flavor, doesn't it?
Yeah, like you're checked out, avoiding work. Stop daydreaming and get back to your spreadsheet.
Exactly. But to let one's mind wander is often framed neutrally or even positively. It's seen as a necessary part of deep thinking and creativity.
It's about giving your brain unstructured time to process things. Right. It's when the breakthroughs happen. You might say taking a quiet shower or washing dishes are the two activities that best let my mind wander and process new ideas.
It's intentional, in a way. You're allowing it to happen for a creative purpose.
You are, or for relaxation. During the long bus ride, she found it relaxing simply to let her mind wander and enjoy the passing scenery.
It's about releasing focus, not losing it. A subtle but very important difference.
All right, now it's time to see if these nuances have stuck. We're going to run through a quick quiz on all 8 phrases.
Remember, the goal here is to think about the specific, advanced meaning we discussed. Let's start.
Quiz question 1. The phrase first thing in the morning means option A, the time just before the work commute starts.
Option B, immediately after waking up, very early in the day.
Or option C, the period when mental focus is naturally at its lowest level.
Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option B.
Of course. First thing in the morning means immediately after waking up. Remember that example about not checking social media to set an immediate priority for your day?
Okay, quiz question 2. To adjust downward, demands or expectations means option A, to change the goal to make it significantly more challenging for motivation.
Option B, to simplify or reduce something to a lower, simpler, or less demanding level.
Or option C, to postpone a required task until all necessary external factors are guaranteed.
Take a moment to pause the critique if you need to review those.
And the answer is option B.
That's right. To adjust downward is to reduce something systematically, like when we talked about adapting to a new, earlier bedtime.
Quiz question 3. The phrase to bounce around between things describes the action of what? Option A. Moving quickly and often between different topics, activities, or locations without settling.
Option B. Engaging in a collaborative review process involving several different departments.
Or option C. Recovering quickly from a series of minor professional setbacks or difficulties.
Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need a moment.
The correct answer is option A.
Yeah, that negative one. To bounce around between things is that inefficient switching, just like the intern who couldn't finish any single task.
Moving on. Quiz question 4. The idiom, for all intents and purposes, is best defined as option A. In every practical sense. Virtually. Almost.
Option B. Under the condition that all previous agreements remain legally binding.
Or option C. After meticulously analyzing every possible outcome or result.
Take a moment to think about it. Pause if you need to.
The correct answer is A.
It is. For all intents and purposes means in every practical sense, like that old car that was basically scrap metal, despite a technicality.
Halfway there. Quiz question 5. Attention span specifically measures. Option A. The cognitive capacity required to effectively multitask.
Option B. The strength of the initial motivation when starting a new project.
Or option C. The length of time a person can concentrate or focus on one single thing without distraction.
You can pause here if you'd like.
The correct answer is option C.
Right. Attention span is all about the time, the duration you can focus. We talked about how modern life might be reducing it.
Quiz question 6. Which statement defines the psychological term novelty bias? Option A. The tendency to prioritize familiar activities over unfamiliar ones.
Option B. The brain's tendency to seek out and pay more attention to new or unfamiliar information and stimuli.
Or option C. The inclination to choose complex tasks over simple ones for intellectual stimulation.
All right, take a second. Pause the critique if you need to.
The correct answer is option B.
It's that subconscious pull towards the new and shiny. The novelty bias is what makes you want to jump to a new project before finishing the old one.
Almost done. Quiz question 7. The primary symptom of restlessness is a state of being, option A, unable to stay still, relax, or focus because of nervousness, boredom, or dissatisfaction.
Option B, deeply introspective and emotionally detached.
Or option C, hyper-focused on a single repetitive task to avoid anxiety.
Feel free to pause here and think it over.
The correct answer is A.
Yep. Restlessness is that physical agitation, that inability to settle, like the passengers waiting for that delayed flight.
And our final one, quiz question 8. To let one's mind wander means
Option A, to engage in deliberate visualization exercises.
option B, to allow your thoughts to drift freely and randomly away from the current task or subject.
Or option C, to allocate a strict time limit for brainstorming sessions.
Last chance to pause the critique.
The correct answer is B. It is to let one's mind wander is to allow that free-flowing thought process that can lead to creativity, like when you're washing the dishes or taking a shower.
And that wraps up our quiz and our critique of these 8 fantastic phrases.
That's first thing in the morning, adjust downward, bounce around between things,
For all intents and purposes,
attention span, novelty bias.
restlessness, and finally, letting one's mind wander.
The key takeaway here is to really focus on those nuances. Use these phrases to add authority and precision to your English.
Absolutely. Show that you understand the deeper cognitive and practical meanings behind them.
You can find the full lesson materials on SpeakDuo and get AI feedback to improve even faster with SpeakDuo Pro. And remember to check your email for the daily quiz and a review of this critique.
Thanks for joining us. We look forward to the next critique.